How we doing, guys? We're at my first podcast ever for Sale by Owen. I'm with Ryan Kotsch with 80/20 Group, another real estate agent, and makes really good content. So I just kind of wanted to pick your brain, dude.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on. Social media is kind of a new trend in real estate, in selling real estate. Something that I found very valuable for, me in terms of getting more business, but also, can be helpful to clients as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing, or sharing some thoughts.
Yeah,
Anyways,
100%.
yeah.
Now, I know you were saying that you don't have like family members that were in real estate to put you onto that, but do you have any people that were doing content or any like friends, family members that were starting to do content?
Yeah, so I have no family members do any sort of social media or any content or anything like that. Actually, they kind of make fun of me for it. I have
Yeah,
two younger sisters who, whenever we get together for Thanksgiving or whenever the whole family's together, they always pull up my videos, and
just a roast
I
session.
hate hearing my voice. I hate seeing myself talk,
Yeah,
like most people do.
right.
So I was just, so that's painful. So actually, the opposite. They don't necessarily they don't not encourage it, but they definitely make fun of me for it.
Yeah,
And that's something that a lot of people are afraid of. Friends kind of making fun of you, family, and honestly, it's just going to happen, and
yep.
you just need to be okay with it. And yes, but there was some inspiration from some other agents locally here in San Luis County, but also on a larger scale, bigger influencers like Graham Stephan. I think that's probably the main driver. He makes great YouTube videos and things like that. And then there's this guy named I forgot his first name's Ennis, but he makes these really high production or really high quality shoots. And so I have some inspiration from other people, but nobody in my family or friends or anything like that.
Yeah. Now, do you like pick on some certain resources? I know you were saying Graham Stephan in terms of someone you like base your content off of, but was there any like books or like videos or anything like that for people who want to make content that you were like following? It's like a guide.
Yeah, so I think I never read any books or anything like that specifically pertaining to social media, but I did read more relating to real estate. Was Sell It Like Sirhan was by Ryan Sirhan. He makes a lot of great content as well. His is kind of up in your face, in front of your face. But he's based in New York, and his videos and book are both great just because he's all about personal brand. And that's ultimately why you do social media as a realtor, is to build that personal brand and to kind of just be known for it. And so I think he was a great resource for me.
Totally.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you were saying that, I mean, you didn't really have anything necessarily you were basing your content off of. But I think people really struggle with this idea of really just starting in general. What do you feel like is like a big motivator or driver just to get people past that barrier of just starting to make content, whether it's for real estate, their business, or any of those kinds of things?
Yeah. So for I guess first and foremost for realtors, I don't want to say it's vital, but you're missing a very large component that could get you a lot of business. So I think the main motivator should be that maybe you can cold call a little bit less,
Totally.
which is great, especially if you hate it,
Yeah.
and focus more time on social media. But it is tough to stay motivated, to be honest,
Yeah.
because it takes months and months, sometimes years to really build traction and get in a groove and kind of find what your niche is. And that goes for all businesses, because within every business, there's so many ways in which you could film content
100%.
that it can be overwhelming. But I think if you just start doing random things, you'll find what you like, and you'll find what the audience likes and what reacts well. So also a main motivator for me was just seeing my analytics improve.
Yeah.
That was huge, because I remember, when my first video got over 500,000 views, I was incredibly excited, and I couldn't wait to go
Yeah.
make the next video.
100%.
And of course, the next video didn't do nearly as well as that one, but it was that's a big motivation, is just improvement.
What kind of video was that?
So that was a Shell Beach based video, kind of making a controversial claim saying Shell Beach is the best city in California in the county, which, you know, I may or may not believe, but
Right.
it's a hook. And so that's something I found that really works. A lot of mistakes that businesses and real estate people make when they make social media content is just having a really boring opening line. You know, social media is something where people are scrolling. Attention spans aren't necessarily high. So I think it's vital that your first line in any video, no matter what your business is either controversial, extremely informative, which that's hard to really have a super informative line, or something that's trending. You can say something that's trending. So I think, and those aren't the only three, but it was just eye catching. And that was the first video I ever made where I made a controversial claim like that. And when it went viral, I thought to myself, I was like, okay, going forward, I need to make videos that possibly spark controversy, and not in a negative way, but just that spark debate.
Totally.
And that's what the algorithm likes is debate, and that's entertainment for people. So,
Totally.
yeah.
And I mean, obviously with people who are going to hear claims like that, get upset, ruffle some feathers and stuff. I thought you had a really unique perspective on responding to comments. Do you mind just like sharing like how you deal with negative comments?
Yeah. So, you know, especially once a video goes quote unquote viral, you're going to get negative comments.
Right.
I don't know if there's a single video on the internet that went viral that doesn't have negative comments, and it could be the most wholesome charity-based
It's
video.
like the puppy video.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
People are still pissed about
Yeah,
it. Right?
exactly. So, I mean, you could make a video about anything, and if it goes viral, you're going to get hate.
100%.
So first understand that it's not personal and it's not just you. But also understand that, you know, you can respond. And I think, and, you know, I don't always respond because some of them are just so foolish that they're not worth the time.
Right.
But other ones, you know, do make you think and do make you, so to be honest, you should really listen to some of them if they're critiquing you or and you kind of have to make that decision for yourself, whether it's worth implementing and, you know, actually taking it as constructive criticism. But for the ones that are just blatant hate and have no value whatsoever,
Right.
you know, feel free to respond and feel free to, you know, get as personal as they did, because I think, you know, and you don't have to do that. And I don't always
Right.
do that. Sometimes I do just ignore it because
Totally.
it's just what I feel like doing that day. But some days, I think there's a lot of integrity and respect you'll gain by actually responding to these people who are in your comments. You know, you're not on their page, they're on your page. So
Right, exactly.
Dominate your page, dominate the comment section. And, you know, if it's just blatant hate, then,
Yeah.
you know, feel free to respond accordingly. So,
And they're just trying to like gain some sort of control, whether it's like control of like a narrative in your space
Yeah.
or any of that kind of stuff. It's just very obvious what they're doing. It's some sort of insecurity or something like
it
that.
is.
So
There's a lot of insecurity on the internet, well, just in general, but it really
100%.
showcases itself on social media. And also it's good to understand that because, you know, you almost feel bad for some people that comment really hateful things and you know, because it makes you wonder, you know, why are they like that and why are they there
Right.
in that state of mind. So just kind of taking a step back and realizing that, you know, you're going to get those comments and that, you know, it's just to be expected. And,
100%.
and that's okay. You know, it's
Well,
just part of it.
I love that you still find like value with people who like even siphoning through all like the negative comments. You see, hey, some of them are. I know we were talking about it before, where you were saying someone was asking you like, oh, why aren't you wearing like a business shirt? Like, how can
Yeah.
I take you seriously or something like that? Like things like that, where you're like, oh wow, that's actually like a helpful perspective because
Yeah.
it's giving you insight on what the outward, you know, external perspective is of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's a big part of it because, you know, that video in particular, I was showing a $4 million oceanfront property. I didn't expect to film that video, but I ended up just being at the right place at the right time and having the
Right.
opportunity. So I was just wearing like a pretty casual t-shirt because I didn't expect to film the video. But then once I posted it, I got some comments, you know, relating to
multiple
that.
doing
Yeah, I
saying the
think
same
there was
thing.
multiple that said, how could you trust this guy? He's just wearing a t-shirt.
Oh my
And
gosh.
again, they don't know anything about me,
No,
but
100%.
it did make me think. It's like, okay, maybe I should keep a dress shirt in my car. And so I started doing that. So whenever I'm at a property that would require more of an image of professionalism, I can do that. And so I think just being prepared and but also there's merit to being casual in videos too,
Right.
because people want to be able to relate, people want to feel comfortable with you. So if you wear a suit every single video, I don't think you're going to be able to connect with your audience as well. So just dressing accordingly based on the property and based on the situation is important. But in that specific instance where it was a luxury property, I should have dressed accordingly, which was great information for me. So,
Right.
and then also I had other comments talking about hand movements in the beginning when I'm talking.
Oh, dude, I'm the freaking worst. It's so
Yeah, when
bad.
people comment on stuff like that, it really hits you in the heart. And maybe they say it in kind of a hateful, negative way, but
Yeah.
it's like you just kind of need to see past that and be like, okay, how can I improve? And I thought to myself, why am I making those hand movements? And it's because in the beginning I was really nervous. I
Right.
was, and that was a way for me to get my words out and compensate. And I was able to, distract myself with my hands. So again, I was able to learn to tone that back, and
Yeah.
it actually shows more confidence maybe when you use your hands a little bit less.
Right. And that, I mean, that's a huge thing with being like business owner, entrepreneur, like the amount of self-reflection that you have to do to correct things, just be constantly getting better. It's crazy. And
Yeah.
it can be like super overwhelming.
Yep.
And so I feel like that's like another huge thing that's keeping people from starting that business or doing that Instagram or YouTube channel, whatever
Yeah.
it is, you know what I mean? It's just the idea that like you're gonna have to look at a mirror, hear your voice all the time,
Yep.
and put it out there for everyone to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's why it's so respectable. Also because your content specifically is so. I mean, you're always the face of the video. You know what I mean? Even if it's an edit of San Luis Obispo or Shell Beach or something like that, it's you personally talking to the viewer.
Yeah.
Which is how I like doing my content as well.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoy that.
And
So
that's a big tip. Like a lot of people think, and I do make videos where I do just film the property and it's like with music and it's quick edits. People do like those, but overwhelmingly, it's clear that all my videos that do the best, my top 10 videos, I'm in 9 out of the 10. So people love to see people on social media, and especially in their local market. Like if you
Yeah.
live in San Luis Obispo and you're just scrolling on Explore page and then some guy comes up in San Luis Obispo at a San Luis Obispo property, that's really going to catch your eye because you're so used to just seeing like worldwide media and random people,
Right.
but then once you see somebody who's in your city at a property near you, I mean, it's like this kind of shock, and it's entertaining to the local people, which is ultimately who you're trying to reach in our business. Now, if you have
Totally.
an online business or you sell a product or something like that, that's different because you want to obviously just reach as many people as you can. But
Right.
In real estate specifically, you're just trying to reach your local market.
Right.
And so if you can show yourself at landmarks in very well-known cities within your county and you're standing in front of it, people will remember you.
Right.
And so that's huge, just to just be in front of the camera, which sucks. It's the worst, but
Yeah, it's awful.
you got to do it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, where do you think this kind of, form of content and marketing is going to go? Like, I mean, I know Instagram, if you would have told me like 5 years ago that these kinds of productions for businesses and entrepreneurs, like serious business inquiries or whatever, on something like Instagram, not like Facebook or even just Zillow, with the amount Zillow's blowing up, where do you think, I know you were saying you get most of your leads from Instagram. Do you think that's kind of where we're headed, where most Instagram is going to be almost like a marketing platform completely?
Yeah. So I think, obviously it's trending in that direction, but I do think, for a lot of agents, it's going to still just be referral based. I don't think that's ever going to go away. I think referrals are, and for many businesses and specifically real estate in particular, referrals are still the most comfortable way to get leads and usually are the most, high quality clients, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. The best people to work with. But I mean, of course, there's a trend to social media, and not everybody's going to take advantage of it, and a lot of people won't need to. But it's more there is going to be a group of people who do dominate social media, and it's just a matter of if you want to be part of that group or not.
Right.
And if that's the kind of work you prefer over other forms of lead generation and things like that, it's just a matter of if you'd prefer social media. And I think many people would. Many people are just afraid. But I think if you do choose to hop on that train and you do attack it, it'll ultimately be very beneficial. And so I think it's more of a decision of just how you want to get your business. And I
Right.
think social media or has become a very, very competitive option. In my opinion, the best out of any other lead generation form.
Yeah.
It's free. You're building a personal brand, and it's honestly fun. It's
Yeah.
it's fun to improve. It's fun to go to unique properties, and so in my opinion, it's just the best way to do business, the most sustainable as well.
And what do you think pushes your content the most? Do you think it's hashtags boosting your posts or just the consistency of your posts
Yeah,
or the content in
I
general?
think it's the content ideas mostly. I kind of have learned I could tell which property is going to do well on social media because whether it has something particularly unique about it or if it's just beautiful, or if it's at a price point that's really competitive. Like I just made a video at a property in Grover a couple days ago, Grover Beach, and the property was listed at $750,000, and it was turnkey. That's a price point that so many people are looking in,
100%.
especially for something turnkey in Grover Beach. I knew I could make any video at that property, and it would
Right.
get tens of thousands of views, just because of the property itself.
Yeah.
And again, I still put myself in front of the camera, and I still spoke to like even add to the entertainment value. So it's just kind of finding which properties would perform well, and it's usually the well-priced ones, the beautiful ones, the unique ones. And if it's none of those things, then just you being in front of the camera and possibly saying an interesting or controversial statement is
Right.
also what'll push your video. So it's just again finding like what works for you and what style works for you, because I know there's people making content in many different ways in many different businesses, and the same businesses who are all succeeding. So
Right.
just look at your analytics and see what's working. Try different things, and if one video blows up, understand why, and
Yeah.
and maybe try to do it again. So
And do you think, obviously sales is really like a polarizing career. I feel like everyone has their idea of what a salesperson is and
Yeah.
what a real estate agent is and all those kinds of things. Do you feel like there's a very specific character type of person to be a salesperson, or do you feel like anyone could do it?
yeah, so I think for me, real estate, being a realtor, I know we have the label as a salesperson. I mean, that's what we're considered, but
Yep.
I never felt like I've never felt like I've really, I guess, quote unquote, sold anybody on anything. I just kind of, I mean, my whole goal is to just get a property in front of as many eyes as possible.
Right.
And if somebody reaches out who's interested, I'll guide them through the process, and I'll get them to a point to where they'll have an opportunity to obtain that specific property or another property in the area. So it's more like, I'm not super pushy. I just, I think if you just truly add value and I think, just build that personal brand, I think people will I don't think you have to sell to anybody. I think
100%.
people will reach out to you,
Yeah.
and they'll want to work with you. And that's the position where you want to be. And that's what makes social media so great, is
Totally.
because you're not selling.
Right.
It's like referrals. People are coming to you. People are asking for your help.
Yep.
So, that's what makes it great,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just, I don't know, this whole social media route and everything like that. Like I love that idea that it's just a complete blank slate that you can just fully show the kind of person you are.
Yeah.
And then people can really shop around at the end of the day. It's just like, who do you want as your mentor or
Yeah.
guide going into the biggest transaction you're probably going to make ever in your life?
Totally.
And just being a resource and understanding that if they don't end up going with you, that it's just not a personal
Yeah.
attack or anything like that. It's just like, I'm different. I have different friends than the next person. You
Yep.
know what I mean? It's
Yep.
just who you bond with, who you know, get along with and everything.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, and I think, I mean, there's agents in this county who have much more experience than I do, who do way more deals than I do. And you know, obviously, I hope to get to that point one day, and I expect that I will. But I think the advantage that I have is that people get to know me, they get to understand me much quicker than any other agent because they can just watch my videos and they can gauge my personality. And from my videos, you can kind of gauge the kind of person that I am. And so I think, you know, a lot of times when you're looking for a realtor, it's not about who's doing the most business. In fact, some people who are doing the most business will have a difficult time giving you the attention and your property the attention that it requires. So I think like if you just find a realtor who is professional and who you know knows what they're doing, but also you do trust them and you get along with them and you find them to be honest and transparent, I think that's the best kind of realtor you can work with. And I try to portray that in my videos that I do try to be as transparent as I can and I try to be honest and I want people to know that I feel like I have some integrity. So
right.
I think, you know, in terms of choosing a realtor, I think social media gives you an advantage because it allows you to showcase those qualities.
100%.
When otherwise, you know, you can't really do that until you meet the client. So, yeah, I mean, that's another huge advantage for sure.
And with all, you know, making content in general can just kind of get disorganized and overwhelming and all this kind of stuff. Do you have like a really set structure about how you're making videos and how you're making content on a day-to-day basis or a week-to-week basis? Or are you just kind of, hey, I can sneak in a video here. I have an open house today. You know, how does that structure go for you?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So, you know, real estate people in general, realtors, brokers, I mean, our days are hectic. Most people don't know what their week's going to look like. People try to maintain some structure in this business. You know, I'm going to cold call from this specific time. I'm going to have showings strictly in the afternoon. But things happen and clients sometimes need things at specific times and you have a convenient open house at other times. So for social media, I have no strict schedule at all. And also, if you're trying to find properties to shoot at, like a lot of times you don't know what properties are on the market until that week, you know? So it's like something comes up that you know would do well on social media. Something hits the market today, you know, I'm going to try to go and shoot at that video tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon.
And so you're just taking open houses like crazy for these videos?
That too. Yeah. So like if I'm at an open house, I'll definitely take advantage of the fact that I'm already there, get there a little bit early. Or same thing with a showing, you know? And so I think like, yeah, just taking advantage of where you're at so you're not having to drive out of your way to shoot these videos is important because you want these videos to take up as least amount of time as possible, you know, but without sacrificing quality. So that's a good way to do it.
Totally.
But yeah, so it's kind of all over the place.
No, 100%. Now, just kind of wrap things up. I think it's a really good idea to just kind of just get a view of where your goal's at for the next like 5 to 10 years. Just because you're, I mean, a really motivated person, you're putting out all this content. So, I mean, you know, what are your goals, aspirations? Are you looking to just do even more content, grow your business more? I mean, what are those goals?
Yeah. So my goals, you know, pertaining to, I guess, first, just I can start with social media just because we've been talking about
100%.
it. I do want to advance that significantly. I want to make it much more professional. I want to get or make the connections that'll allow me to shoot at some very interesting properties. And I do want to progress it in every way in terms of quality, ideas, consistency, all those things. I will improve over the next 5 to 10 years. And And, you know, I think there's numerous ways I can go about that. I mean, I don't have a filmer. I don't have an editor right now. And so eventually adding those assets to my social media creation, that'll propel my business, I would presume.
Yeah.
It's just been working to film it on my own, and I'm the most comfortable doing it that way. So I've just been doing that. But I do see the potential in hiring people and you know, doing all of that, and kind of delegating some responsibility.
Yeah.
But in terms of just in general, 5 to 10 years, you know, I want to get married in the next couple years.
Right.
So that's really important to
It's
me.
huge. Big move.
Yep. So I think, you know, working on that for sure. And then the mic there.
There we go.
All right, all good. Yeah. So that most importantly that.
Yeah.
And then just, you know, in terms of other business development, I really just want to continue to meet as many great people as possible.
Yeah.
And just continue to build relationships and connections. And I just want to get to a point to where people are comfortable and confident reaching out to me. So I, you know, yeah, I think just development of my personal life, both in relationships and improvement in that category. And then also just in business, kind of coming up with creative ideas, maintaining consistency. I think in 5 to 10 years, I'll be in a place where I'm happy with the balance that I've created.
Yeah.
And with the results. So, yeah, so it's not super, I don't have super specific answers.
No,
but
I really like that because I feel like a lot of people are really like oriented towards quantitative goals and being like, I want X amount of followers and something. And I like that you went and decided, you know what, I just want to make sure my content's better.
Yeah.
Because you know the end result's just going to be more followers,
Exactly.
more people who want to work with you. But making sure that you're putting out quality over quantity at this point is it's just what's needed. And your consistency is going to be there with already how your structure is already with making content. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what we're going to put out, man. It's
me
sweet.
too. And I think, you know, it's such an advantage to not only me and my business, but to clients as well. I mean, when I work with sellers and I make videos at their properties, I mean, it's reaching hundreds of thousands of people. And I've done business and closed deals from videos I've made on specific properties. So it's just an aspect that other agents don't really offer and don't really provide. That is much more valuable than I think people realize.
100%.
So, of course, I do everything else that any other realtor would do, but you know,
add a little bit more value.
But I add a little
Exactly.
bit more value. So I think that's what really separates, you know, kind of what I do, and you know, I love to showcase clients that because it does make a difference.
100%.
But yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like it just says a lot about you too. If you post things online, then it just shows you're not afraid to do, you know, things that people aren't really wanting to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Reaching out to the people you need to. And yeah, I'm glad we had you on, dude. This is awesome.
Yeah. No, well, thank you for having me on. I think I hope to come back because it will be interesting to see like how I progress and then
100%.
how you progress too, and you make your videos. So I'm excited to see.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I'm excited to see your videos.
I was gonna say we're gonna try to do this pretty consistently, and the edits are only gonna get crazier as these videos go and everything like that. So
jump in the ocean or something.
that's when I might have to do something crazy. Do a backflip off of Vista or something like that. Just do something
off
real
the
wild.
pier. Yeah,
if
it's ever fixed, or
exactly.
if any of the piers are ever working.
Right. Sweet, dude.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, dude.